EastEnders spoilers. 11 huge twists rock Walford, as Max Branning takes center stage. 1. Christmas leaves Walford reeling. Albert Square is still reeling from the fallout of Christmas Day, which has left deep fractures instead of forgiveness, especially within one struggling household. As tensions rise, more secrets surface, showing that Christmas only exposed problems long buried. I think it's classic EastEnders moments meant for peace, revealing just how broken relationships are. Someone attempts to step in and help steady the situation, but their well-meaning intervention only makes things worse, adding yet another layer of chaos to an already volatile atmosphere. 2. Lauren and Peter face an impossible choice. Determined to move forward, the Beals and Brannings attempt to focus on Jimmy's christening. But the celebration is overshadowed by one uncomfortable truth. Max and Cindy cannot be in the same room. Lauren and Peter decide to exclude Max, blaming his Christmas behavior. But it isn't so simple. When Max buys Jimmy a thoughtful gift and shows his hurt, Lauren begins to waver. Against Peter's wishes, she re-invites her dad, a decision that immediately backfires when Cindy refuses to attend if Max is present. Once again, Lauren is forced to choose between loyalty and peace. 3. Max proves he hasn't changed. Just when Lauren and Peter think the situation couldn't get any more complicated, Jack drops another bombshell, one that leads to Max being uninvited yet again. Max Branning ignores every warning and turns up at the church anyway. The moment he arrives, disaster feels inevitable, a familiar pattern of desperation that only causes more damage. 4. Harry and Ravi return, and danger follows. Elsewhere, Harry Mitchell returns to Walford, to Gina's delight, but admits romance isn't his focus as he tries to get his life back on track. Ravi is welcomed home by Priya, Nugget, and Avani, but Harry watches the reunion with barely hidden rage, showing his anger has only grown. 5. Harry's thirst for revenge grows. Consumed by bitterness, Harry fixates on revenge against Ravi. Kojo urges him to let go and move on, but Harry refuses to listen. When Harry asks Barney to move home, he's hurt to learn his brother is happy with Zag. The rejection deepens his isolation, and when he later runs into Ravi, his anger finally erupts. 6. Max and Cindy collide. Back at the christening, Max and Cindy finally come face to face, and it's explosive. Their confrontation sends shockwaves through the church, leaving onlookers stunned. Afterwards, Oscar tries to give Max a reality check, but Max refuses to listen. He heads to Harry's barn to drown his sorrows, lashing out when someone close tries to help. Nicola witnesses it all and delivers some brutal home truths, and this time, they hit home. For the first time, Max seems to realize that if he doesn't change, he'll lose everything. 7. Lauren reaches breaking point. As New Year's Eve approaches, Max is determined to make amends. He asks Oscar to help arrange a meeting with Lauren at the Vic, but when she realizes what he's done, her anger is unmistakable. Lauren makes it clear that forgiveness won't come easily, and I think this moment really captures the tragedy of Max Branning, a man who loves his family fiercely, yet repeatedly pushes them further away. 8. Nigel's heartbreaking decline. Away from the Brannings, Nigel Bates's condition continues to worsen. As Phil and Julie look at care homes, Honey and Billy take over his care. In an awkward and heartbreaking moment, Nigel mistakes Honey for Julie and flirts with her, leaving Billy unsure how to respond. It's a painful reminder of Nigel's decline and the helplessness of those around him. 9. Phil's words push Harry further into danger. Harry returns to work at the Arches, clearly struggling with his trauma. Phil tries to guide him, but Harry misreads his words as encouragement to seek revenge. Later, Nicola is horrified when she sees Harry preparing to ambush Ravi from behind. Whether she can stop him in time remains to be seen. 10. A historic flash-forward puts Max at the center of everything. For the first time, EastEnders will air a full flash-forward episode on New Year's Day, jumping to January 1st, 2027, with Max Branning at the center. As his family is caught up in a shocking situation, viewers are teased with clues about the year ahead. I think it's a bold move that shows just how central Max's story will be. 11. A new start for Gina. Finally, as the new year dawns, Gina finds herself in need of a fresh start. Penny eventually agrees to let her move into her flat. A small but significant shift that could open the door to new dynamics in 2026.
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp
EastEnders isn't on at its usual time tonight. Here's when you can catch it instead. If you're expecting EastEnders at its usual time tonight, it's worth checking the clock. With Christmas schedules reshuffling BBC One, the episode is airing earlier than normal. As the drama ramps up heading into Christmas Day, here's exactly when and where you can watch tonight's episode, plus a reminder of what's in store as secrets and tensions threaten to explode. What time is EastEnders on tonight? EastEnders will not air at its normal 7:30 p.m. slot tonight, Wednesday, 24th December. Instead, the episode will be shown at 6:55 p.m. on BBC One, airing for its usual 30-minute runtime. The earlier slot allows festive favourites, including The Great British Sewing Bee, to take over the evening schedule. If you prefer to watch online, there's good news: the episode is already available on BBC iPlayer, having dropped at 6 a.m., as is standard for non-Christmas Day episodes. What about the rest of Christmas week? Christmas Day itself brings a major change. On Thursday, 25th December, EastEnders will air in 2 special episodes, shown at 7:45 p.m., 9:45 p.m. The BBC has confirmed that neither Christmas Day episode will be available early on iPlayer. Viewers will need to tune in live, marking a return to traditional event television for one of the soap's biggest nights of the year. The festive schedule then continues, with an additional episode on Friday, 26 December, airing at 9:30 p.m. Christmas Eve shocks for Max and Zoe. As Christmas Eve unfolds on the square, Max Branning continues to alienate those closest to him. Determined to make amends with Oscar after recent tensions, Max promises to put things right, but, in typical Max fashion, he quickly becomes distracted by Linda and his unresolved emotions. Feeling abandoned and hurt by his father's behavior, Oscar turns to drink before eventually joining the rest of the square at the carol concert. In a moment charged with festive emotion, Oscar drops a shocking revelation on Max, one that threatens to derail Christmas before it's even begun. Has Oscar just sealed the Brannings' fate for Christmas Day? Elsewhere, Kat is doing everything she can to support Zoe, as the stalker ordeal continues to loom over her. Her concern turns to suspicion when she discovers Sam hiding out in the back of the Vic and demands to know whether she's been tormenting Zoe. Sam's response stuns Kat. She reveals that she has cancer and that she's come to the Vic seeking comfort and support from Zach. It's a moment that instantly reframes Sam's recent behavior and adds yet another emotional layer to an already heavy week. Later, Kat and Alfie leave for Yolanda's carol concert, leaving Zoe alone. Back at the Vic, Zoe makes a disturbing discovery that sparks devastating consequences for Christmas Day. What has she found? And how will it change everything?
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp
EastEnders, spoilers for tonight. Zoe's terrifying discovery rocks Christmas as Sam reveals her cancer. Christmas Eve in Walford is far from peaceful, as EastEnders delivers an episode full of tension and secrets. As festive plans unfold, lives begin to unravel, especially for Zoe Slater, whose night takes a shocking turn. Left alone at the Vic while Kat and Alfie attend Yolanda's carol concert, Zoe expects a quiet moment, but instead makes a disturbing discovery that could change everything. Meanwhile, as Kat closes in on the truth about Zoe's stalker, Sam delivers a devastating revelation of her own. Elsewhere, Max Branning continues his destructive spiral. Oscar's drunken honesty threatens to explode long-buried tensions, and the Mitchell family attempt to rally around Nigel as his memory fails him once again. 1. Zoe makes a shocking discovery. With Kat and Alfie heading to Yolanda's carol concert, Zoe is left alone in the Vic. the place she believed would keep her safe. Instead, she faces something deeply unsettling. The discovery is so shocking, it threatens to ruin the family's Christmas before it begins. Given Zoe's fragile state and fear of being watched, this moment pushes her closer to the edge and may finally expose long-hidden truths. 2. Max threatens to ruin Christmas. Max Branning continues to push people away as he reels from Annie's secret being exposed. Keen to fix things with Oscar, he promises to make amends, but quickly shifts focus to trying to mend fences with Linda. Feeling hurt and abandoned, Oscar turns to drink before joining the family at the concert. Fueled by alcohol and emotion, he drops a bombshell that could tear the family apart. It's a moment that feels both tragic and inevitable, and one that raises the question of whether Max has finally gone too far to repair the damage he's caused. 3. The Mitchells pull together. After the film screening, Phil, Julie, and Sam try to support Nigel, but it's clear he remembers nothing of what happened, a heartbreaking sign of his decline. Later, Phil and Sam share a rare, honest talk about family, with Nigel's condition forcing them to face past regrets. It's a quietly emotional moment, showing the Mitchells at their most vulnerable. 4. Barney notices a spark. While Vicky attempts to distract Zach from his lingering feelings, it's clear he's nowhere near ready to move on. His emotions remain raw, and his heart clearly isn't where he wants it to be. It isn't long before Barney clocks what's going on, noticing a spark between Zach and his sister's brother. Whether this leads to complications or new heartbreak remains to be seen, but it's clear someone's feelings are about to be exposed. 5. Anthony struggles with Christmas. Anthony struggles to embrace Christmas as he faces his first without his ex-wife and children. Patrick and Chelsea try to lift his spirits, refusing to let him feel alone. But Anthony keeps his guard up, unable to shake the pain he's carrying. It's a reminder that the season isn't joyful for everyone, and only highlights what he's lost. 6. Sam reveals her cancer diagnosis. Determined to protect Zoe, Kat is shocked to find Sam hiding in the back of the Vic. Believing she's finally come face to face with Zoe's stalker, Kat confronts her and demands answers. But instead of denial or anger, Sam delivers a devastating truth. She has cancer. She explains that she's there seeking comfort and support from Zach, leaving Kat reeling from guilt and shock. It's an emotional moment that shifts everything, reminding us that not all secrets are sinister, and that sometimes the truth is far more heartbreaking than anyone expects.
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp
EastEnders spoilers for next week. Max and Cindy clash at the christening as a chilling flash-forward rocks the Brannings. 1. Max is shut out by his family. After a turbulent Christmas, Lauren and Peter turn to planning Jimmy's christening, but tension looms as they fear Max and Cindy being in the same room. Lauren decides the risk is too great and tells Max he's no longer welcome. However, when he arrives upset with a thoughtful gift for Jimmy, she wavers and, against Peter's wishes, re-invites him in the hope of peace. That hope quickly fades when Jack reveals another troubling truth about Max. Max is excluded again, with Cindy refusing to attend if he's there, making it clear his reputation is in tatters even within his family. 2. Max crashes the christening. Ignoring Lauren's final warning, Max recklessly turns up to the christening anyway. As the congregation gathers, the mood instantly changes when he walks in, uninvited and unapologetic. All eyes turn as Max and Cindy finally come face to face. What follows is a brutal confrontation, fueled by years of anger, grief, and blame that Cindy has never let go of. It's a moment that shatters the fragile calm of the day, and one that leaves everyone questioning whether Max has just crossed a line he can never come back from. 3. Max receives a harsh wake-up call. After the christening disaster, Oscar tries to reason with Max, offering tough love, in the hope he'll take responsibility. But Max, lost in bitterness and self-pity, refuses to listen. He instead heads to Harry's barn to drown his sorrows, snapping at another local who tries to help. Nicola witnesses it all and delivers some brutally honest home truths about how Max treats those who care about him. Shaken but not entirely changed, Max heads off into the night, determined to fix things his way. Later, he asks Oscar to help him set up a secret meeting with Lauren at the Vic. Reluctantly, Oscar agrees. But when Lauren realizes her dad has used Oscar to manipulate her into meeting him, she's furious, and it only reinforces how deeply damaged their relationship has become. 4. Harry returns with revenge on his mind. Harry's return to Walford delights Gina, but their reunion soon turns bittersweet when he admits their relationship must be put on hold as he focuses on revenge against Ravi. Kojo is glad to see Harry but troubled by his plans, while Barney later rejects Harry's plea to move home, insisting he's happier staying with Zach. Soon after, Harry crosses paths with Ravi on the square, and the tension between them is unmistakable as Harry vents his anger and resentment. 5. Harry targets Ravi. Back at work in the Arches, it's clear Harry is struggling to keep his emotions in check. Phil notices and offers him some advice, hoping to guide him away from trouble. But Harry hears only what he wants to hear, twisting Phil's words into justification for revenge. Later, Nicola is horrified when she catches Harry lurking behind Ravi, poised to attack him from behind. It's a chilling moment that leaves one big question hanging in the air. Will Harry go through with it, or can he stop himself before everything spirals out of control? 6. Nigel mistakes Honey for Julie. While Phil and Julie explore care home options, Honey and Billy look after Nigel. His confusion leads to an awkward, heartbreaking moment. Mistaking Honey for Julie, Nigel flirts with her, leaving Honey stunned and Billy uncomfortable. The scene blends gentle humor with real sadness, highlighting the impact of Nigel's condition. 7. A chilling New Year flash-forward. On New Year's Day, EastEnders unveils a shocking flash-forward to January 1st, 2027, with Max Branning at the center of a disturbing situation involving his family. The Branning's future looks far from peaceful, with Max still at the heart of it all. But what has happened over the past year, and is he heading for redemption or ruin?
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp
EastEnders confirms 2 explosive Walford returns as Harry's thirst for revenge threatens to spiral. EastEnders is set to reignite a volatile storyline as Ravi Gulati and Harry Mitchell return to Albert Square. Their homecoming is far from joyful, instead sparking a dangerous revenge plot that threatens to push one damaged character to the edge. Both men vanished weeks ago after a drug operation spiraled out of control. Now, with trauma unresolved and anger simmering, their paths are about to collide again. Ravi's path into danger began when he teamed up with the ruthless Oki. Things spiraled when Oki kidnapped Harry, turning the situation nightmarish. In a shocking twist, Harry ultimately killed Oki out of desperation rather than malice. Afterwards, Ravi was brutally beaten by criminals linked to the operation. Fearing for his family's safety, he chose to leave Walford to protect them, revealing his deep conflict between survival, guilt, and loyalty. Harry's ordeal, however, left scars that ran far deeper. During his captivity, he became addicted to drugs, a dependency that only worsened once his father Teddy took the blame for Oki's death. Watching his family suffer for something he had done pushed Harry further into self-destruction. At his family's insistence, he eventually checked himself into rehab, desperate to regain control of his life. In episodes airing from Monday, 29 December, Harry returns to Walford, immediately stirring emotion. Gina Knight is clearly happy to see him, and their bond is still strong. However, Harry admits he can't commit to a relationship until he sorts himself out. I think this reflects his emotional state, aware of his damage, but unsure how to heal. Kojo Asare is also pleased by Harry's return, though his relief soon turns to concern. Despite Harry's claims of change, his bitterness resurfaces when he sees Ravi back with his family, reopening old wounds. Fresh from his traumatic experience, Harry becomes consumed by rage. To him, Ravi represents everything that went wrong. the chain reaction that led to his captivity, addiction, and shattered family. And in Harry's mind, revenge begins to feel like justice. Kojo tries to reason with Harry, warning that revenge will only bring more destruction, but Harry refuses to listen. What makes this unsettling is that he's driven by unresolved trauma rather than cruelty, making his actions even more dangerous. Harry's reunion with Barney offers little comfort, as Barney insists on staying with Zach Hudson, highlighting how fractured their family has become. The meeting ends abruptly when Harry runs into Ravi, and the tension between them is immediate. Hoping routine will help, Harry returns to work at the Arches, but it's clear he's still deeply affected. Phil notices his struggle and offers advice, trying to steer him away from further trouble. Tragically, Harry hears only what he wants to hear. He twists Phil's words into a justification for revenge, convincing himself that striking back is not only acceptable, but necessary. What follows is deeply chilling. Harry begins stalking Ravi around Albert Square, watching his movements and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Just as he prepares to attack, Nicola spots her son lurking nearby, instantly sensing that something is very wrong. The question now isn't just whether Harry will hurt Ravi, but whether anyone can stop him before his pain turns into irreversible consequences. With trauma, anger, and revenge colliding, EastEnders looks set to deliver a storyline that explores how easily unresolved suffering can tip into violence, and whether redemption is still possible when the damage runs this deep.
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh. Hẹn gặp
Who is Debbie Bates in EastEnders, and what really happened to her? EastEnders delivered one of its most moving episodes in years, with a powerful standalone story focused on Nigel Bates and his worsening young-onset dementia in the lead-up to Christmas. The episode unfolded within Nigel's fractured memories, blurring past and present as familiar faces returned in poignant visions. Nostalgia flowed with appearances from Pat Evans, her son Barry, and younger versions of Phil and Grant Mitchell from the 1990 seconds. One return was especially emotional. Debbie Bates, played again by Nicola Duffett for the first time in nearly 30 years. Though brief, her appearance had huge impact, reviving a love story that ended too soon. So who was Debbie Bates, and why does she remain such an important part of Nigel's story? Who was Debbie Bates in EastEnders? Debbie first arrived in Albert Square in 1993, initially credited as Debbie Tyler. She was introduced as a close friend of Tracy the barmaid, and quickly became a regular presence on the square. Debbie was running from fear when she escaped her abusive marriage to Liam and arrived in Walford with her daughter Claire, hoping for safety and a fresh start. That past made her a survivor, rebuilding her life. She soon found love with Nigel Bates in one of the show's most quietly moving romances. Nigel offered kindness and security, which is why Debbie still lingers in his mind as a symbol of hope. But Liam wouldn't let them live in peace, trying to sabotage their wedding. In a classic 90 seconds EastEnders moment, Phil and Grant kidnapped him and locked him in the Arches, allowing the couple to marry amid moral grey areas. How did Debbie Bates leave EastEnders? After marrying Debbie, Nigel formally adopted Claire, cementing their family unit. For a while, life seemed to be on track, but EastEnders, as ever, had tragedy waiting in the wings. Debbie was killed in a sudden hit and run, brutally ending their happiness. Her death became one of the darkest chapters of Nigel's life, leaving him grieving as a single father. Adding to the pain, Liam resurfaced to try to reclaim custody of Claire, forcing Nigel into a bitter legal battle. It showed just how much Nigel stood to lose and how hard he fought to protect the family Debbie had built. Years later, Nigel found love again with teacher Julie Hay, and together with Claire, they eventually moved to Scotland to start a new chapter away from Walford. When Claire returned to the square in 2008, she paid tribute to her late mother by visiting Debbie's grave alongside Branning, a quiet, emotional moment that reaffirmed Debbie's lasting legacy. Earlier this year, EastEnders again highlighted Debbie's importance when Nigel hallucinated younger versions of Debbie and Claire during a VE Day episode. That moment now feels like a poignant lead-in to the devastating Christmas storyline playing out today. Why Debbie's return matters now. Debbie's return in Nigel's dementia story isn't just nostalgia, but deeply symbolic. Dementia draws people back to those who mattered most, and Debbie defined Nigel's happiest years. Her reappearance shows that beneath the confusion, Nigel is clinging to love and loss that still feel real. That's what makes it so heartbreaking, because for him, Debbie never truly left. Her return may have lasted only moments, but emotionally, it spoke volumes about the life Nigel once had, and the one he's now slowly losing.
Cảm ơn bạn đã theo dõi kênh.